I haven't watched this yet. I'm sure some of you have seen this. This is the former Kick employee who has accused Kick of using the hard R and F slur in the office, deliberately misgendering trans streamers, bragging about decimating Jade Future's rate, exploiting a Twitch streamer's, likely Kaide's, cancer. And Kaide has come out and confirmed that Kick did try to offer her a contract and she turned it down to try and get her to stream. Is now a bad time to announce that I'm going to Kick? Do you guys think it's a bad time? Do you think now is not the moment? Or do you think it's okay? Do you think I could like slip it in there? Maybe make a little tweet. Be like, by the way, catch me on Kick. Slay queen, get the bag. Slay, get the bag. Just kidding. I'm not doing that, but let's watch this. It's only 2 minutes.
As far as to just consistently hearing the F slur, and not even just in jest, like as a joke. It was specifically, targeted towards people that it was supposed to discriminate.
Also, none of this is surprising. This is kind of a, like, when I first heard about this, I went, oh yeah, water is wet.
Against. Even so much as to walk past the socials room, the guys that run the, Kick streaming and Kick community, and hear the N-word just dropped. Hard R. And I'm like, what is this office? How? And they had the executive, like the upper management was in the room. I even remember seeing a couple of people in my team laughing because they were deliberately misgendering transgender streamers. There's a creator on Kick who got a contract through one of the bigger streamers. This creator has special needs. And we gave him a contract out of good faith and the fact that this bigger streamer was quite a fan of him. So when I asked about this streamer's contract renewal, he had a smirk on his face and goes, I decimated his rate. And this was apparently fucking hilarious because everybody else in the room laughed. I said, well, what did you put it down to? And he proceeded to then brag about the fact that he got him on a below market cent rate for an English streamer. We were talking about the fact that they were trying to get a very beloved Twitch streamer over to Kick, to stream Steak as well. Just for context, this particular streamer had been publicly battling cancer recently. So they decided to utilize that in their strategy to get this person over. The conversation very quickly became quite sinister. The quote that I remember hearing was, we can get her on Kick streaming Steak for a relatively low price because she probably thinks she's going to die soon.
That is actually evil. That is actually so vile. I mean, of course, all this shit is gross, but this one in ugh. I don't know. It's the type of thing where if your brain thinks that way, do you stop it all and wonder what the fuck happened to you? Where the fuck in life things went wrong? When you look at a person like Kaide, who is going through cancer, and therefore you conclude that she will surely want to come over and stream on Kick because she probably thinks she'll die soon. If your brain works that way, you are broken. That's the type of thing where I wonder, if you've gotten to that point, is there any coming back? Is there any hope?
And she'll want to leave more money for her family. They don't care about pedophiles on the platform. Like this guy right here, I had to fight tooth and nail to get this guy off. This is something I went into detail in the other video. But yeah, fought so hard to get this guy off. And he told two 14-year-old girls that he wanted to do something sexual to them. Wow. And he even included their age in the proposition. I mean, if you haven't seen the video, it's...
I feel as if there has just been such an abundance of pedophilia and just open bigotry. There's every fucking story I see about Kick. I haven't watched Jay Aubrey's video yet. I'm planning to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. But every story I see are those things. What is happening?
It's so heinous. It's so wrong. And the fact that everyone there could watch it almost with a grin on their face. There were staff members who were defending it, saying that it was a joke. That was actually one of the
just
first
a joke,
times
bro.
I was like, I have to walk away. If this guy stays on the platform, I have to go. Child endangerment, like having children on the platform.
Man, what a get out of jail card is it's just a joke. You ever notice how it's the worst people who use that? They can't take a joke. It's just a joke. It's like, is it? Really? Is it? How long is this full video? Let me see.
Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, which is probably 99% of you.
Oh, I didn't know it was longer than that.
My name's Melissa, and I was previously employed by Kick and Steak. There's been a couple of controversies recently that I've posted on my Twitter just in regards to how they've treated me since I left. Not only did they send me a cease and desist, which I'll go into in a second, in regards to this tweet, or here, but they've also been lying about the fact that I was fired when I quit. So I posted this post with my resignation letter in it. I think a lot of people were kind of confused on why I would post a resignation letter to like 700 people that follow me on Twitter. This is because quite a few people in the esports industry do follow my account. And I thought it was a good way to showcase that if they had heard these lies, that they were absolutely unfounded. And I felt like I really had no other option. I mean, it was either let it go or try my hardest to get it out there, that was absolutely not the case. Now, when I talk about them lying about me being fired, I'm not talking about an entry-level exec or some account manager. I'm talking about the CMO of both Kick and Steak. The guy that approves all the contracts. He's the head of the affiliate team for Steak. He runs the social media team, but pretty much everything runs through him. Every event, anything at all, as far as ideas or streamers or anything runs through this guy. He's basically Ed. He's on pretty much the exact same level as this guy. He directly reports to Ed. The CMO basically runs everything. I think they decided to go with this strategy because Steak and Kick are supposed to be sort of booming at the moment, and a lot of people in the industry would probably think it was crazy for someone to leave because it's such a big opportunity, and it really is, especially being in Australia where we really don't have a big entertainment industry at all. So, this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for people. I think that they would have thought they would get away with saying that I was fired because there's no way someone would leave this business. Little do they know it was actually extremely easy to leave with the things that go on in that office. The ego on these people is insane to think that no one would leave, but they do employ people purposely that are completely okay with unethical behavior and conduct it themselves and work with zero integrity. So I'm not surprised that they were surprised that I would leave. I guess that was a mistake on their point to even employ someone like me, thinking that I would...
You forget that this is an actual company because of how many deranged streamers are on the platform. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you forget that people work for this company. People like her, who is a seemingly well-adjusted, normal individual, and it's like, oh yeah, I forget there's people like that at Kick, that this is a company with employees, because when you think of Kick, you just think of the worst trash who streams on that platform.
Be okay with even a quarter of the things that happen in that office. It's important to note that the office environment for me was extremely hostile, not only because I was being treated pretty poorly by a couple of individuals and the people that I went to for help were not helpful at all, but because there was just a consistent disrespect to other people's opinions and beliefs. And this went as far as to just consistently hearing the F slur. And not even just in jest, like as a joke, it was specifically, targeted towards people that it was supposed to discriminate against. Even so much as to walk past the socials room, the guys that run the, Kick streaming and Kick community, and hear the N-word just dropped. Hard R.
Oh, I think
and
we
I'm
watched this part.
What is this office? Trouble, if not blurred. This was just due to the fact that a lot of it was personal information that wasn't really relevant, or it depicted another staff member whose story is not mine to tell. But the part that you could see that I really didn't want public, but I knew if I blurred literally the entire thing out, it would have zero impact and people would just assume that it was fake anyway. So I speak about the fact that I needed flexible working arrangements and that they were revoked. A lot of people assumed that I needed to be home all the time, or I was working from home, or I wasn't showing up from work, or I was taking...
Not all the Kick streamers are bad. I heard one of them did the dodgeball won the dodgeball tournament thingy.
ridiculous amount of time off, which is just absolutely not the case. So my daughter started school in February, and every second week I needed to pick her up. So I would get in at around 9:30 after dropping her off. I wouldn't take any breaks or have lunch, and I would leave by about 2:30. It's important to note that a lot of staff members work from home, and we absolutely didn't have a stringent office working environment where we couldn't actually access information outside of the office, especially my team, where we had to work 24/7 because we were the POCs for a lot of partners overseas. And also I was consistently working with businesses overseas. So there were times where I would be working from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. outside of work hours after doing a day's work. So it was very normal to work from home anyway. And all I needed to do was work from home for a couple of hours at the end of the day to pick up my daughter every second week. You can imagine it was a surprise to me when the manager of the partners team, yes, the same guy that has been going around spreading lies about me, sat me down and just flat out said that my flexible working arrangements would be revoked effective immediately.
Gotta get rid of your daughter.
And I need to find alternatives. I found it absolutely disgusting that that was effective immediately when basically giving me no time to come up with an alternative. And not to get too personal, but I don't have anybody to lean on. I don't have friends or family that can help me out here. And they were very aware of that. So for me, there was no other options. They were basically
Gotta
telling
get
me
rid
to
of the
choose
kid.
between my child and my work. Of course, I asked if this had anything to do with my performance, because to me, that was the only excusable reason that they could have to even revoke the rights, but to do it so suddenly. I was told in that meeting that it had absolutely nothing to do with my performance, which made sense to me because I wasn't underperforming at all and I hadn't been told ever that I was underperforming. So it would have been very out of the blue for them to just say it in that meeting and not tell me anything prior or give me any kind of notes prior to that, like, oh, please work on this or you need to do better here. When I asked what the reason was for this insane backflip, they told me that my parental responsibilities were becoming a burden to the team's morale.
This
and
feels
that it was
like
going to have an effect
a
on its
lawsuit.
performance. And as you can see, this was solidified in this email. Yes, I have blurred out the rest because it's totally irrelevant and I want to make sure that this stays on track. This was very hurtful. You know, if you're a parent,
Emotional distress.
you know that your morale is also very low, especially if you're working full time. So to hear that other people's morale was low, for me having to run around like a psychopath every morning and every night trying to, you know, scurry together to get her to school, to get to work, to leave work, to go get her, you know, it was a lot of pressure on me and it's a lot of pressure on anybody. And to be so blatantly just disregarded, you know, and overlooked in that moment, it really sucked. Look, I wasn't at all surprised about being treated like this because the way that company is run is unimaginable, but it did make me sad being told that basically my daughter was a burden to other people. I also reference in this resignation letter that I was being mistreated by a couple of co-workers. I'm not going to get into this right now because honestly, it's just a lot. There's a lot to say. I actually made a video that was an hour and a half long about Geek, but I decided that I kind of came off a little bit like this guy, so I'm not going to release that right now. I'm just going to go into
Release it.
my last month at the company and what was the turning moments that made me go, this is absolutely not worth it anymore. So after being told that I couldn't have flexible working arrangements, I sought out the CMO, that great guy, and I was like, what do I do? Where do I run? Who do I speak to? Blah, blah, blah. He goes, I'll speak to Ed. Ed is the one that basically fires you or he doesn't because of these types of issues. So every single day I came in, I was like, okay, I'm expecting them to give me an answer. You know, a week went by, 2 weeks went by, 4 weeks went by, and I'm still chasing this guy up. Like, what's going on? Can you just let me know? Like, can we talk about alternatives? I'm happy to do an extra day on the weekend if I have to. Like, I wanted to continue to try and move this platform to a good place, a safe place, a savory place for the industry. And I couldn't do that if I didn't work here. And honestly, they need all the help they can get in that regard because most people that work there really don't give a shit. I actually never got clarity on this at all. I actually quit before I ever got clarity about it. So who knows what would have happened. The stress of not knowing was definitely a part of wanting to leave. But there were 2 specific incidences in my last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, that really solidified the fact that I was absolutely not in the right place. One of these incidences was when I was in a meeting and for those of you who don't know, there's a creator on Kick who got a contract through one of the bigger streamers. This creator has special needs and we gave him a contract out of good faith and the fact that this bigger streamer was quite a fan of him. Quick side note, I grew up with a severely autistic cousin and I am very in tune with the needs and well-being of anybody with a disability. So I wanted to follow up on this guy's contract renewal because the POC was the manager of the partners team. And I don't know if you guys have figured this out or not yet, but he's a massive dick. So I was really concerned that this streamer wasn't going to be treated well, and I was right. So when I asked about this streamer's contract renewal, he had a smirk on his face and goes, I decimated his rate. And this was apparently fucking hilarious because everybody else in the room laughed. I said, well, what did you put it down to? And he proceeded to then brag about the fact that he got him on a below market cent rate for an English streamer. Everybody thought this was funny and I was shocked. And even if I think about this too much, it actually makes me cry because the thought of how bad this streamer must have felt, it's just not right. And the level
she must
of just
have not
cruelty
known
there
anything
as well,
going
and
into
just
Kick.
absolute, like, no compassion towards the fact that this person There are no
The
words.
fact that the rest of us are sitting here like, oh yeah, no, none of this is a surprise. Literally nothing that comes out of this woman's mouth could surprise me. But the fact that she is so deeply shocked by the horrific behavior that went on at this company.
I have no words about this. It made me, I don't use the word hate very often, but it made me hate this person, which was very difficult because he was managing that team that I was a part of. Being around this people and those people who thought it was funny became impossible. And this is amongst a billion other things that I put in that 1.5-hour video that I haven't released, but I think this kind of adequately depicts the type of people that are, pulling the strings behind this platform. The second reason, so the second incident that happened about 2 days prior to me leaving, which really solidified it. I walked out of this meeting, called my friend and was like, it's done. I'm done. I'm out of here. I cannot do this anymore. We were talking about the fact that they were trying to get a very beloved Twitch streamer over to kick, the stream stake as well. And God, it's horrible. And just for context, this particular streamer had been publicly battling cancer.
Oh yeah, this is the kind
and something that I cannot get out of my head because it's so heinous to me. Characters that work there, which is why I had to get out. The quote that I remember hearing was, "We can get her on Kick streaming stake for a relatively low price because she probably thinks she's going to die soon.
It's
and
so
she'll want to leave
heinous.
more money for her family." When I heard that, I actually was surprised. I sort of looked up in surprise. And everybody else was sort of looking at this person that was speaking and just being like, yeah, that's true. Let's go with that. Like, I think we can get this person. And I remember getting really hot after that. Like, I just felt like I was in hell. And I was talking to the devils and I was talking to demons, like, and these demons were plotting to, take over the world and I had to stop them. Like, it felt so bad. When I walked out of that meeting, I actually ended up going home early because I needed to after having that conversation with my friend, I just needed to
like,
really
Jesus!
think hard about whether I could stick this out. And obviously my decision was that I was going to walk away. I had no intention to expose the company, although a lot of people that I did speak to about these issues, like throughout the entire time I was there, and then obviously when I left and the reasons why, they said that people should know about this, especially because this company has so much influence. Letting people know about what's going on behind the scenes might help them hold them accountable, and there is nothing without accountability. And right now, they are not accountable for anything. As you can see, they just let shit slide. They do anything. They don't care about pedophiles on the platform. Like this guy right here, I had to fight tooth and nail to get this guy off. This is something I went into detail in the other video. But yeah, fought so hard. It's so to shame anybody on Kick. And I left, me and compliance had been so wrong. And the fact that everyone there could watch it almost with a grin on their face. There were staff members who were defending it, saying that it was a joke. That was actually one of the first times I was like, I have to walk away. If this guy stays on the platform, I have to go. Child endangerment, like having children on the platform. Before I got there was no verification process for if somebody was underage. And so funny because by the time I left, me and compliance had put together a process, and because I was pushing it so hard, I'm like, we cannot allow anybody under 13 to stream. Now, nobody knew this, by the way, because I guess when you copy Twitch's TOS verbatim and then you just get some random guy in the office to change, the wording, none of the staff know the terms of service. So a lot of people were just like, nah, she can stream even if she's 6 years old because, she'll have her dad near her or whatever. And it's like, no, that's actually not the case. She cannot be on the platform and she cannot hold her own account. Funnily enough, when I left, I was like, okay, good. The child safety part is pretty much done. They have a process now in place, and I'm pretty sure there's no need to allow children on the platform because what market are you trying to capture? You already have pedophiles on the platform. Are you just trying to like appease them? Like, what's the point?
Oh my God.
I still don't know, because I saw this tweet about 2 or 3 weeks ago where a prominent staff member is promoting on Twitter an 11-year-old boy who...
What? This kid has been hustling all weekend. DreamHack Dallas with a solid family at his side. Check out blah, blah, blah. Guys, gotta meet Cypher PK. Reminded him about that one time he got me as an elf. Gave him a few autograph photos. Hope he will add me up in game. Do we have homework?
whilst I was there, I was the reason why this kid got banned. And I'm sorry to the child that, you know, that might upset you, but it's about your own
remember,
safety.
guys, these
And
are the guys that are
especially on
about free
Kick, I
speech
feel like
protecting the
sometimes
children
kids
over there
should
on
be,
Kick.
like, under, you can't even be on it under 18. This child was banned when I was there because, you know, I did have a zero tolerance towards it because children need to be protected, not only against the people on the platform, but you need to protect children against being, you know, exploited by their parents, which you see.
Also, just to be clear, this is not about Cypher. This is about Santa Maria guy. Cypher's a really good dude.
On YouTube all the time. You need to protect children from people on the streams. Like if he got chatbotted or, you know, a bad character came into his stream and started saying horrible things that you can only imagine, I would feel guilty for that. And who knows what that's going to do to that child as he grows up. Ugh, God, it's I just can't believe these people. Anyway, so as you can see in the tweet, he's just promoting him. He's reinstated his account. The kid gets featured all the time. And he's verified. And he's 11. And the reason I know he's 11 is because on his Facebook page that he used to stream on, it says, I turned 11 in Dallas. They just blatantly ignore their terms of service, which are...
Oh my God. When I was having lunch with my cousin the other day and his little kids, my cousin was like, hey, let me know if you ever do any kid-friendly content. Like, would you ever think about doing that? I said, honestly, Matt, no. I don't know what that looked like, and I just don't think that's me. He goes, yeah, well, the girls really want to watch Auntie Caroline, and they're like, Auntie Caroline's so famous. I'm like, okay, look, I'm not that famous. Maybe Disneyland, I guess. Yeah, I think maybe it's my humor, though. Like, I don't want to have to censor myself because I'm worried about children watching me. Like, basically the point I'm making here is I don't want kids watching me because of the content I do that is very heavy for children. It's not appropriate, and the language that I use. And I'm not a pedophile. I'm not somebody here being like, yeah, 14 and green, that's my type, baby. I'm not over here saying slurs. I'm not a bad role model. I am just an adult who speaks using language that's not appropriate for kids just because of things like swear words, and also ironically the fact that I cover so many stories about abuse where it's like, no, an 8-year-old doesn't need to be watching this. But the fact that kids watch streamers who are dangerous for them, or that they are streaming on these platforms and are being exposed to all sorts of shit. The kids in my life get to see me when I'm making the day about them. I'm otherwise an adult whose business they don't need to be in. Yeah. Like, I straight up told my cousin, no, don't have the girls watch my stream content, because I never want to worry about having to tailor what I'm doing to make sure that it's child friendly. I don't want to have to be constantly checking myself to ensure that I didn't say a curse word.
Are in place to protect children from dipshits like this that I, for some reason, had to fight to get off the platform. I'm sorry, it's this type of shit. This just makes me so frustrated because the bare minimum is to protect kids. And these two examples just showcase that they could care less. They could care less. There were times where I was nearly in tears because I just didn't understand why they cared so much about letting this guy stay and letting this kid on the platform. I don't understand. I do understand that the less savory streamers do have
Well, that's
viewers
not
that
how you
are
protect kids. No. That's not how you protect kids. The way you protect kids is you don't let them learn that gay people exist. You don't allow rainbow flags in the classroom. That's how you protect kids.
To mortgage their fucking house to stream on stakes. So that is the reason. And well, you know what? What's a few pedophiles for a few $1 billion? So anyways, thank you for watching. I don't know if this video is even going to go anywhere. I hope it does, because this is the only way that they're going to be held accountable. I also don't know what's going to happen to me because of this video. I don't really care if they sue me. I doubt Stake wants to be in a courtroom anyway. But if they do, I mean, I have nothing to take anyway. I'll.
Do you know what's sad to me is when she says, I don't know what's going to happen to me because of this video. And her mind immediately thinks like, oh, what will happen on a corporate level? Like the fact that I'm exposing things about work. I hope she's been okay. But my mind is like, man, how many fucking death threats is she going to get? How many sycophantic freaks of kick streamers are going to be coming after her, saying the most terrible things? Like that's what I think too. She's obviously not, you know, she's not a streamer. She's not someone whose day-to-day experience is dealing with freaks online. But I'm like, that's what my mind thinks. We're, you know, someone who's exposing kick like this, who's exposing streamers. Oof. Mm-mm. What is this comment? So we all just gonna ignore the fact that she accepted racism and discrimination in the office and kept working there? Wasn't bothered enough to leave when she had racist comments, but was bothered enough to leave when someone said an immoral comment about dying? I need proof of these claims. Oh God, we got an I need proof guy. I need you to make me a YouTube video. Give me proof. Otherwise, this all sounds fabricated. This is my favorite type of guy, okay? The one who comes in acting like he's riding in on a white horse, like, so racism was not enough to cause you to leave this company. Like, he's acting as if he's saying racism is so bad, discrimination is so bad, you should have left then, which I wouldn't agree with that condemning of her, but that's how he phrases this. He's like, so it was only bad once someone said the comment about dying. Oh, no, that's not the basis though of why this guy is coming in hot. He's coming in hot because he's calling her a liar and a grifter. Time and time again, people fall out with Kick and then they want to speak up on so-called issues, but ironically, the entire time they were benefiting from Kick, had nothing to say. Dude, did you watch the fucking video? Because she made it very clear that all of this compounded. That she finally had enough with the Kaide situation. That it got to be too much. Like, who amongst us has not been in an employment situation where there's bad shit happening around you, but you either A, think that you can change things from the inside out, B, feel like you have no other option because it's your fucking job and you have bills, and in her case, she has a child. What are we doing here? No, this guy sucks. This reply guy is not coming in good faith whatsoever. Just quit. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Just quit. It's the same thing when you criticize America because you want America to be better for all people. And people are like, oh, yeah? Why don't you just leave America? Oh, yeah, you hate it so much? Then leave. It's like, this is my home. I was born here. I was raised here. I'm allowed to criticize something because I want better. And I want all of us to have better. You weirdo. Oh, man. Oof. Duh. I also like this idea that people who leave Kick finally have something to say about Kick. And it's like, well, why didn't you say something earlier? It's like, do you understand that when people finally make the decision to leave a job, like they make that decision and then they blow the whistle and then they say, this is why I left? Like that Can you not comprehend that that's logical? Like that order of events? Things are bad at work. You get to a point that you can't accept it any longer. You quit. Or something happens and you're fired, whatever it is. And then you decide to go public and say, this is what was going on and why I had to leave. I don't think these people have jobs and don't get the concept that a boss could seek retribution. I mean, I think, let's see. Oh, this guy is a streamer? Facebook gaming, kick streaming. Okay. I was about to say, I feel like this person probably has a job. And then I looked that up and went, oh, never mind. Not in the way that we're thinking. If your marriage was so bad, why didn't you divorce sooner? Yeah, you want to know the common thread with all these questions? It takes the responsibility off of the party at fault. Oh, yeah, your boyfriend's abusive? Well, why did you go back to him? Oh, yeah, your marriage was so bad? Then why did you wait so long to divorce? Oh, yeah, your job was so awful? Why did you wait so long to quit? It's always that. And it's like, you are directing your fire at the wrong party here. There's no winning. They speak up, they act up, etc. They get documented, peer reviewed into a hole. Then when they leave, disgruntled bad employee. Yeah, it's a tricky situation. Look, I have been in plenty of jobs where there were things that were fucked up, things that I did not feel good about. Like when I was being sexually harassed at my first political job, and I told my boss about it, and I stayed working because one, I was young and I didn't know how to I didn't know how to quit a job like that. And two, because it was my job. I didn't have anything else lined up. And three, because I was afraid of repercussions. I was afraid of retribution from powerful politicians who were sexually harassing me. So yeah, no, I've been plenty of positions where there were things happening around me that made me deeply uncomfortable, that made the workplace a bad environment, and I didn't quit the second that happened. Like that's how life goes, man.